CD2 Track 1, Unit 10 Pictures. People like to have pictures of their families and friends. They have pictures of places they visit and things they like too. They can get these pictures easily. It was not always like this. The first people made pictures inside caves. They made colours from earth and rocks. They painted pictures of men and animals. They lit torches in caves. The torches gave them light. Then they could see when they were painting. Some cave paintings are 30,000 years old. The tombs of the pharaohs had many paintings on the walls. The paintings told the story of the pharaoh's life. These paintings are 3,000 years old. Later, people painted on walls in cities and towns. The pictures often told the story of something important. The paintings were for everyone to look at. Rich people wanted to have pictures in their homes. Artists painted pictures of their families and their favourite things. Poor people did not have pictures of anything. Only rich people could pay the artists. The paintings were expensive because they took a long time to do. About 200 years ago, a few people made pictures with cameras. The pictures were not very good and they were not in colour. Slowly the pictures got better. These were the first photographs. People liked them because the photographers could make them quickly. They could make cheap copies too, and more people could buy them. They bought photographs of other countries. They found out about different people. Newspapers had photographs, and people saw pictures of what was happening all over the world. Photographs and cameras got even better. Lots of people bought their own cameras. They took pictures in colour. They took pictures of their families, their friends, and their holidays. Now people take pictures with a digital camera. People download these pictures onto their computers. They email them to friends all over the world. Some people take pictures with their mobile phones. A person could take a picture of a cave painting with a mobile phone. Then he could send it to a friend's phone in just a few seconds. Track 2, Unit 10, Listening. 1. Cover the pictures below and listen to Matthew's story.
One day in April 2005, Matthew Stevens was cleaning the kitchen in the restaurant where he worked. There was a cloth on the table. He picked it up. Suddenly, he felt a terrible pain in his hand. "It was like a long, sharp thorn going into my hand," Matthew said. A spider was hiding under the cloth. It was a very strange spider. It was huge. "As big as the palm of my hand," Matthew said. "I think it came to the restaurant in a box of bananas." Matthew took out his mobile phone and took a photo of the spider. Almost immediately, Matthew began to feel ill. His hand began to swell up like a balloon. Matthew felt worse and worse. His hand got bigger and bigger. He went to the hospital and told the doctors about the spider. He showed them the photo of the spider on his mobile phone. When they saw the photo, the doctors knew what to do. They helped Matthew. Matthew left the hospital the next day and went home. The spider that bit Matthew came from Brazil. It lives in the rainforest. It can grow up to 13 centimeters across. It is a very fierce and a very poisonous spider. Matthew is alive and well today only because of his mobile phone.
Track 3. 3. Listen again and number the pictures.
One day in April 2005, Matthew Stevens was cleaning the kitchen in the restaurant where he worked. There was a cloth on the table. He picked it up. Suddenly, he felt a terrible pain in his hand. "It was like a long, sharp thorn going into my hand," Matthew said. A spider was hiding under the cloth. It was a very strange spider. It was huge, as big as the palm of my hand, Matthew said. "I think it came to the restaurant in a box of bananas." Matthew took out his mobile phone and took a photo of the spider. Almost immediately, Matthew began to feel ill. His hand began to swell up like a balloon. Matthew felt worse and worse. His hand got bigger and bigger. He went to the hospital and told the doctors about the spider. He showed them the photo of the spider on his mobile phone. When they saw the photo, the doctors knew what to do. They helped Matthew. Matthew left the hospital the next day and went home. The spider that bit Matthew came from Brazil. It lives in the rainforest. It can grow up to 13 centimeters across. It is a very fierce and a very poisonous spider. Matthew is alive and well today only because of his mobile phone.
Track 4. Unit 10. Spelling.
The letters PH in words make the same sound as F. The tombs of the pharaohs had many paintings on the walls.
Track 5. Unit 11.
The diving lesson. Andy's cousins loved diving. Andy went to stay with them. The next morning, his cousins were getting ready to go diving. "Can you dive, Andy?" Ned asked. Andy shook his head. He was scared of diving, but he didn't want to say so. "Can you swim?" Max asked. Andy nodded. "Then you can learn to dive," said Max. "It's easy." When they got to the beach, Ned and Max put all their diving things in the small boat. Max started the motor. It hummed softly. Ned jumped in and Andy watched the boat as it chugged out across the bay. "Did you want to go with them?" Uncle Roy asked. "No, thank you, Uncle Roy," said Andy. "I'm going to swim." He ran into the water and swam a little way from the beach. He looked down. There were some fish far below, but the sunlight was shining on the water and he couldn't see them properly. "I'm going to put my head under the water," Andy said quietly. "Then I'm going to see the fish clearly." Andy took a big breath. He looked down, but he couldn't do it. He was too scared. When he got back to the beach, Uncle Roy was waiting for him. "While you were swimming," he said, "I was tidying up in the hut. I found this." He held out a mask with a tube on the side. "Do you want to try it?" he asked. "Ned used this when he was learning to dive," he added. Andy said, "Yes, please." Uncle Roy showed him how to put the mask on. He showed him how to breathe through the tube. Together they swam out from the beach. "Here's a good place," said Uncle Roy. Andy looked down. He could see fish. but he couldn't see them properly. Now, he thought. He put his head under the water. There were hundreds of fish below him, big and small and all different colours. Some fish swam slowly. They flicked their tails gently. Other fish were fast and darted through the seaweed. Andy saw flashes of orange and bright blue. A large pink shell lay on the white sand, and red coral covered the rocks. It all looked very beautiful. Andy spent the morning swimming up and down the bay. He watched sea creatures of every shape and size. He even saw a small manta ray flapping along the bottom. When the other boys came back for lunch, Ned saw the mask on Andy's towel. He picked it up. "This is my old mask," he said. "I thought it was lost." "I found it in the hut," said Uncle Roy. "Andy's using it. He's learning to dive."
Track 6. Unit 11. Listening. 1. Talk about the pictures and listen to the song.
Splash into the waves in a shower of droplets, past the flying fish skimming over the foam. Leave the seabirds screaming, wheeling round their cliff top nesting home. Down through shoals of darting fishes, chased by sharks with fearful jaws. Tuna streaking, dolphins squeaking, whales cruise by too far off shores. Flatfish, starfish move along the seabed, crab and lobster sideways crawl. Worms are wriggling, eels are squiggling, anemones cling to coral walls. Dark and still are the waters of the ocean, far from the winds and the crashing seas. Deep down under, gaze with wonder, sea green world of mysteries.
Track 7. 2. Find these creatures in the pictures. Listen again, then write the missing words. Sing the song.
Splash into the waves in a shower of droplets, past the flying fish skimming over the foam. Leave the seabirds screaming, wheeling round their cliff top nesting home. Down through shoals of darting fishes, chased by sharks with
Track 8. Unit 11. Spelling.
Compound nouns are made up of two words put together. Sun plus light equals sunlight.
Track 9. Unit 12.
Coral reefs. Coral reefs look like underwater gardens. The corals look like small plants and bushes. There are corals in every colour of the rainbow. But they are not plants. Corals are many tiny animals growing together. As each animal grows, it makes a hard wall all round it. When it dies, the hard wall is left and another animal grows on top. Over thousands of years, the corals grow bigger and taller. They cover the seabed for many kilometres. This is called a coral reef. Corals grow in many different shapes. Some corals look like objects. People name the corals after the objects. There is star coral, rose coral, finger coral, and sea fan coral. Some corals do not build reefs. These are the soft corals. There are many of these in the Red Sea. They are beautiful colours, and they look like living flowers. Each tiny animal has many arms. These wave in the water and catch even tinier animals for food. Many wonderful creatures live in a coral reef. Some fish look like animals on land. They have the names of the animals they look like. The parrotfish has a mouth like a parrot's beak. The butterfly fish has spots like a butterfly. The lionfish looks like a lion's head, and the clownfish looks like a colourful clown. Divers must be careful when they swim around the reef. The rayfish with blue spots has a sting in its tail. One little octopus shows blue spots when it is angry. Then it can give a poisonous bite. The red fire coral looks pretty, but it stings. All the coral reefs are home to ocean wildlife. They are important places in our world, but many reefs are in danger. Fishermen and careless divers damage them. Other fish can damage them too. One strange starfish eats coral. Its name is Crown of Thorns. Usually it swims alone. But 50 years ago, thousands of these starfish arrived near Australia and ate many of the corals. Nobody could find out why they did this.
Track 10. Unit 12. Listening. 1. Listen and write the name of the hotel.
Come to the Coral Beach Hotel. Coral Beach, Coral Beach. Come to the Coral Beach Hotel for the perfect holiday. Coral Beach.
Dilly the dolphin says,
It's fun for all the family.
Track 11. 3. The Scott family went to the hotel for a holiday. Listen and tick the things they could do.
We had a great holiday, didn't we?
Oh, it was wonderful.
We went swimming every day.
The swimming pool was gorgeous,
The weather was good,
It was really hot.
but it was very windy.
so I couldn't go parasailing.
And because it was windy, the sea was very rough.
The waves were really high, so we couldn't ride on the banana boat.
And we couldn't water ski either.
But you went fishing,
Yes, I did.
and we all learned to dive. That was fantastic.
We took photos under the water.
And I fed the dolphins. That was really exciting.
They jumped right out of the water.
They were great.
Track 12. 4. Listen and say.
Dogfish, catfish, lionfish, flatfish, clownfish, jellyfish, parrotfish, shark.
Track 13. Unit 12. Spelling.
When we add full to a word, we write it with one L. Wonder plus full equals wonderful. Many wonderful creatures live in a coral reef.
Track 14. Revision 4. 2. Listen and read.
100 years ago, people could not see all the wonderful fish that live on a coral reef. Now people can see them on TV and in books. Look at all the things that were happening when these pictures were taken. While the shark was swimming above the rocks, the crab was getting into a shell. When the crab grows bigger, it must move to a larger shell. While the diver was taking a picture of the coral, a starfish was eating it. Some starfish eat other fish. They have 5 arms and they use them to catch their food. While the butterfly fish was swimming past the coral, the octopus was catching a crab. An octopus has 8 legs and it can see very well. While the manta ray was swimming along the bottom, the clownfish was swimming behind the giant clam. A clam can weigh up to 180 kilograms, as much as 3 people.
Track 15. 4. Listen and find the picture. This creature has many long arms. They hang under its body. It hasn't got any bones, and most of its body is water. It is a jellyfish. This animal has blue and white stripes. It likes to hide between the rocks. Snakes live on land, but this one lives all its life in the water. These animals crawl slowly. There are many of them in the oceans. Other fish don't eat them because they don't taste nice. One of the shells in this picture has spikes. 2 of them are round. Crabs often live in shells like these. Track 16. Unit 13. Millie's London Diary.
My diary. Our visit to grandmother and grandfather in London. April 1876 by Millie Porter. Monday, the 21st of April. Today, grandmother took John and me to the toy shop. Mr. Jolly owned the toy shop. He is very friendly and he is always smiling. He wears a big white apron. He keeps a pencil and a sharp knife in the apron pockets. He can make anything out of wood. He hums while he is working. Grandmother bought some soldiers for John. They are red and blue and they have black hats. Tuesday, the 22nd of April. This afternoon we went to see Aunt Sarah. She lives in a big house near the park. On the way, we passed a girl selling flowers. Aunt Sarah loves books, and I do too. Today, I read some poems to her. I like reading to Aunt Sarah. She has a beautiful garden. She showed us her new pond. There wasn't any water in it. The gardener is going to put some water in it tomorrow. Then he is going to put some plants and some fish in it. Wednesday, the 23rd of April. Grandfather's friend, Mr. Brown, came to visit today. He has twinkling eyes. He wears a long black coat and he carries a walking stick. He likes games and puzzles. He brought a puzzle for us. It was a box and some shapes. We had to fit the shapes into the box. He told us funny stories about India. He met an Indian prince once. He gave the prince a puzzle and the prince gave him a monkey. Thursday, the 24th of April. Today we saw the little flower girl again. She was selling her flowers near the park. She had a large basket full of yellow flowers. She often looks unhappy. She has a thin face. She was wearing an old grey coat, but she didn't have any gloves and it was cold today. Grandfather took us for a walk in the park. On the way back, he bought some of her flowers. She smiled. She always smiles when someone buys her flowers. Friday, the 25th of April. A tall policeman often stands at the corner of the street. When we passed him today, he said, "Good morning," in a deep, gruff voice. Sometimes he walks past the house. He walks slowly with his hands behind his back and he wears big black boots. He has bushy eyebrows and a big moustache. His eyes are friendly and his cheeks are rosy red. His coat has shiny silver buttons down the front. He looks very smart.
Track 17. Unit 13. Listening. 2. Listen to Millie. How many mistakes did she make? Write the numbers. Number 1.
Today we went to the toy shop. We met Mr. Jolly. He's very friendly. He was wearing a long blue apron. Grandmother bought 8 toy soldiers for John. They were blue and black and they had red hats. Mr. Jolly put them into a box.
Number 2.
I saw the little flower girl today. Her basket was full of pink flowers. They were very pretty. It was a cold day today. She was wearing an old coat and her gloves were old too. She looked a bit sad.
Number 3.
Grandfather's friend, Mr. Brown, came to the house. He was wearing a long black coat and he was carrying an umbrella. He was carrying a bag too. Inside, there was a puzzle for us. I like Mr. Brown. He's fun.
Number 4.
The policeman was at the corner of the street again. He has big, bushy eyebrows and a small moustache. He has big black boots and he walks with his hands in his pockets. He has 10 shiny silver buttons on his coat.
Track 18. 3. Listen again. Correct Millie's mistakes. Number 1.
Today we went to the toy shop. We met Mr. Jolly. He's very friendly. He was wearing a long blue apron. Grandmother bought 8 toy soldiers for John. They were blue and black and they had red hats. Mr. Jolly put them into a box.
Number 2.
I saw the little flower girl today. Her basket was full of pink flowers. They were very pretty. It was a cold day today. She was wearing an old coat and her gloves were old too. She looked a bit sad.
Number 3.
Grandfather's friend, Mr. Brown, came to the house. He was wearing a long black coat and he was carrying an umbrella. He was carrying a bag too. Inside, there was a puzzle for us. I like Mr. Brown. He's fun.
Number 4.
The policeman was at the corner of the street again. He has big, bushy eyebrows and a small moustache. He has big black boots and he walks with his hands in his pockets. He has 10 shiny silver buttons on his coat.
Track 19. 4. Listen and sing.
Come and buy my roses, sweet, sweet roses. Come and buy my roses, come and buy. Lovely roses, pretty posies. Lovely roses, pretty posies. Come and buy my roses, sweet, sweet roses.
Track 20. Unit 13. Spelling.
When we add un to the beginning of words, we can make opposites. The little flower girl often looks unhappy. Happy, unhappy.
Track 21. Unit 14.
The Romans. A long time ago, the Roman people made Rome into a big, strong city. The Romans were good soldiers. They travelled a long way from Rome. They built roads, cities and bridges in all the countries that they went to. Everyone in those countries had to obey the Romans. They had to pay a lot of money to them. The Romans called all these countries the Roman Empire. The Roman roads were straight. It is quicker to walk along a straight road. Sometimes people disobeyed the Romans. The soldiers marched along the roads and arrived quickly. They made the people obey them. The soldiers helped to build the roads. First, they marked a straight line. Then they dug down 1 metre. After that, they put down big stones. Next, they covered the big stones with small stones. Sometimes they put flat stones on top. The top of the road was curved. Rainwater ran off into the ditches. The army could march in bad weather. There was not much water on the road, and the carts did not get stuck in mud. Everybody could use the roads. Every Roman soldier had good clothes. He had a metal helmet. It protected his head. Metal armour protected his body. He had a woolen tunic. It kept him warm. The soldier's belt was metal. He kept his knife on the belt. He had a sword and he had a spear. He had sandals on his feet. They were thick because soldiers had to march on hard roads. A good soldier became a leader. He led 100 men. He had a red cloak and red feathers on his helmet. Red was the colour for Roman soldiers. Soldiers learned to drive chariots. 2, 3 or 4 horses pulled the chariot. It could carry 1 or 2 people. It was not heavy and it could go fast. The driver was the charioteer. He used a whip to make the horses go faster. The other soldier was often a bowman, and he used a bow and arrow. In Rome, many people liked to watch chariot races. These races were exciting, but they were dangerous. Sometimes the chariots crashed.
Track 22, Unit 14. Listening. 1. Listen. Write the correct names under the chariots.
4 charioteers were in a race. Their names were Marcus, Aquila, Cassius and Brutus. Their chariots were green, gold, orange and blue. 2 horses pulled each chariot. The driver of the orange chariot did not have a whip, but he wore a helmet. The driver of the green chariot used a whip, and he wore a helmet. Cassius had a white horse and a brown horse. He did not use a whip. He did not wear a helmet. The driver of the gold chariot did not have a helmet. He used a whip.
Track 23. 2. Listen. Who won the race?
The 4 chariots were standing side by side. They were waiting for the start of the race. The crowd was quiet. The horses were excited. They were stamping and snorting and pulling. Suddenly, they were off. The crowd cheered as they galloped round the stadium. The orange chariot was in front, followed by the blue chariot. Then came the gold chariot, and then the green one. A grey horse and a white horse were pulling the orange chariot. Suddenly, the white horse fell down. The orange chariot was out of the race. Now, the blue chariot was in front. The green chariot passed the gold chariot. Green was now in second place. They raced round a corner and, with a loud crash, the green chariot turned over. Now only 2 charioteers were in the race. Cassius in front, with Aquila close behind. Cassius shouted at his horses. Aquila cracked his whip. His 2 horses, one grey, one white, galloped faster. Just before the finishing line, the gold chariot passed the blue one. He was the winner. The crowd clapped and cheered.
Track 24. 3. Listen and sing.
Rumpety-tumpety-tumpety-tum, here comes the galloping major. Rumpety-tumpety-tumpety-tum, here comes the galloping major. All the people cry as he goes galloping by. Hey, hey, get out of the way, here comes the galloping major.
Track 25. Unit 14. Spelling.
When we add dis to the beginning of words, we can make opposites. Sometimes people disobeyed the Romans. Obeyed. Disobeyed.
Track 26. Unit 15. Delicious ice cream.
Ice cream dream. Ice cream, oh ice cream, I dream of ice cream. Ice cream is soft. Ice cream is creamy. Ice cream is wonderful. Ice cream is dreamy. Ice cream, oh ice cream, I dream of ice cream. Ice cream with strawberries. Ice cream with pears. I like eating ice cream, sitting on the stairs. Ice cream, oh ice cream, I dream of ice cream. Ice cream in a glass. Ice cream in a cone. I can eat an ice cream and talk on the phone. Ice cream, oh ice cream, I dream of ice cream. Ice cream is frozen. Ice cream is cold. I'll eat ice cream, even when I'm old. Ice cream, oh ice cream, I dream of ice cream. I eat ice cream, I can't stop. I'll eat ice cream until I pop. Ice cream, oh ice cream, I dream of ice cream.
Space lolly. A roaring rocket is the lolly from Mars. I know because the wrapper has planets and stars. Come on, quick, Mum, push the trolley through the checkout. Thanks for my lolly. Tear off the paper, drop it in the bin. My green ice rocket, I can't wait to begin. Bite off the top, so cold and sweet, cools me down from my head to my feet. A taste of lemon, it's going so fast. The trouble with lollies is they don't last. Just half a mouthful, a final lick. All gone now, there's nothing but the stick.
Choose, please. Pineapple, chocolate, coffee or cherry. Orange or lemon, mint or strawberry. Coconut, melon, banana or lime. Please tell me the flavour you want this time.
Track 27. Unit 15. Listening. 1. Cover the pictures below and listen. What does the ice cream surprise look like?
First, cut the cake into small pieces. Then, put the pieces into a glass. Choose some nice juicy fruit. For example, a pear, a banana, some grapes, and some strawberries. Chop the fruit into small pieces. Put the fruit and also the juice from the fruit on top of the cake. Put the glass into the refrigerator for about half an hour. Take the glass out and put a big scoop of your favourite ice cream on top of the fruit. Put a cherry or a strawberry on the top. Delicious.
Track 28. 2. Listen again. Number 1.
First, cut the cake into small pieces.
Number 2.
Then, put the pieces into a glass.
Number 3.
Choose some nice juicy fruit. For example, a pear, a banana, some grapes, and some strawberries.
Number 4.
Chop the fruit into small pieces.
Number 5.
Put the fruit and also the juice from the fruit on top of the cake.
Number 6.
Put the glass into the refrigerator for about half an hour.
Number 7.
Take the glass out and put a big scoop of your favourite ice cream on top of the fruit.
Number 8.
Put a cherry or a strawberry on the top.
Number 9.
Delicious.
Track 29. 3. Listen and say.
Ice cream, nice cream, ice cream, nice cream, ice cream, nice cream, ice cream, nice.
Track 30. Unit 15. Spelling.
The letter C in some words makes a sound like S. It is called soft C. I like ice cream. The letter C makes a sound like S when it is followed by the letter E, the letter I, the letter Y. Mice, circle, bicycle.
Track 31. Revision 5. 2. Listen and read.
Grandfather, grandmother, Sarah and Paul are going to have tea in the tea shop.
What can we have?
I'd like some tea, please.
Are there any biscuits?
Is there any orange juice?
There are some biscuits, and of course there is some tea.
I don't want any tea, thank you.
There isn't any orange juice, Sarah, but you can have some ice cream.
Thank you.
Are there many cakes, Grandfather? Is there much ice cream?
There isn't much chocolate ice cream, but there are some chocolate cakes.
There are lots of cherry cakes, Paul.
I'd like some strawberry ice cream, please.
Delicious.
Track 32. 4. Listen and look at the last picture. Name the person.
Who has a lot of tea? Who likes cherry cakes the best? Who is going to drink some milk? Who likes biscuits? Who likes chocolate cake? Who has a lot of ice cream? Who doesn't have much ice cream? Whose cup has a little tea?
Track 33, Unit 16.
Glass. People made glass 4,000 years ago. They heated sand in a fire. When sand gets very hot, it melts. It makes a thick, sticky liquid. While the liquid is cooling, it is easy to shape it. The first glass makers shaped round beads. These were the first glass objects. Later, Egyptian people made vases from glass. They used earth to make the shape. They heated the sand. They dripped the hot liquid onto the shape. They completely covered the shape, then they let the liquid cool. When it was hard, they picked out the earth from the middle. It took a long time to make a vase in this way. Next, people learned to blow glass. This was quicker and cheaper, so more people could have glass things. The Romans often had glass bottles and jars in their homes. People still blow glass. This glass blower has a long, thin metal pipe. First, he picks up some of the thick liquid. He blows into the pipe. The shape at the other end gets bigger. He uses a piece of wood to shape it, and when it is the right shape, he cuts it off the pipe. People learned to make different shapes. This light has shapes like raindrops. There are hundreds of pieces of glass in it. The candles shine on the glass. The glass makes the light shine more brightly. A painter sometimes paints glass with gold and bright colours. You can decorate an empty glass jar with coloured paper and make it into a present. But remember, you must always ask an adult before you make something like this. How to make a sweet jar. You need a clean, empty glass jar, A4 white paper, crayons or coloured pens, scissors, glue, 40 centimetres of ribbon, string or wool, some sweets or nuts. 1. Measure 20 centimetres along the paper. Draw a line. Cut the paper. 2. Cut the small piece of paper into 3 pieces. 3. Choose 3 colours. Colour the pieces. 4. Cut out shapes. 5. Stick the shapes on the jar. 6. Draw a circle on the big piece of paper. 7. Cut it out. Draw and colour a pattern. 8. Put the sweets in the jar. 9. Put the paper circle on top of the jar. 10. Tie the ribbon round the jar. Give it as a present.
Track 34, Unit 16. Listening. 2. Do you remember Professor Inkspot? Listen to him talking about glass. Glass! What a marvellous, marvellous thing it is. For a moment, think of your house. Well, the windows, of course, are made of glass. They keep the wind and the rain out, and they keep noise out too, of course. Now, let's go into the kitchen. What can we see here? Glass bottles and glass jars, with jam in, perhaps. And here's a glass jug full of orange juice. Let's pour some juice into a what? That's right, into a glass. Now, let's go into the sitting room. What have we got here? Ah, there's a lovely mirror on the wall that's made of glass. And a glass vase with beautiful flowers in it. And there's a light, too, also made of glass. And look, there's an old clock on the wall. The front of the clock is made of glass, of course. Is there anything else here? Yes, there is. There's a fish bowl on the table. What a dear little goldfish there is swimming round and round. So, you can see we have glass everywhere in our homes. What a really marvellous and useful thing it is. Track 35. 3. Listen again. Which objects in exercise 1 does he talk about? Glass. What a marvellous, marvellous thing it is. For a moment, think of your house. Well, the windows, of course, are made of glass. They keep the wind and the rain out, and they keep noise out too, of course. Now, let's go into the kitchen. What can we see here? Glass bottles and glass jars, with jam in, perhaps. And here's a glass jug full of orange juice. Let's pour some juice into a what? That's right, into a glass. Now, let's go into the sitting room. What have we got here? Ah, there's a lovely mirror on the wall that's made of glass. And a glass vase with beautiful flowers in it. And there's a light, too, also made of glass. And look, there's an old clock on the wall. The front of the clock is made of glass, of course. Is there anything else here? Yes, there is. There's a fish bowl on the table. What a dear little goldfish there is swimming round and round. So, you can see we have glass everywhere in our homes. What a really marvellous and useful thing it is. Track 36. 4. Listen and say.
2 fat drops of rain running down the window pane, moving at a steady pace. Which one's going to win the race? Larry left or Ricky right? Moving faster, what a fight! It's Ricky right, hooray, he's won! And look, here comes the sun.
Track 37. Unit 16. Spelling.
We can add the letters ER to some verbs to make nouns. He paints glass with gold and bright colours. He is a painter. Verb, paint. Noun, painter.
Track 38. Unit 17. Eddie, the Emerald Island Detective.
Look, Smokey, we must find Professor Trench at once.
I can't believe it. I dug up the emerald vase 40 years ago, and now it's gone.
Don't worry, Professor. We're going to find it.
My men are watching the planes and the boats.
We can help, Inspector.
Can I look in your suitcase? Thank you.
I can't see the thieves here, Smokey. Let's go to the port. The thieves aren't here, Smokey. Let's look around the island. Smokey. Who are those men? And what is in that bag? I think they're the thieves, Smokey. How can we stop them? I don't understand. The boat is turning round. They're coming back. Why? I can't understand it, Smokey. Why did they go out and come back? That's it, Smokey, of course. You are the cleverest cat in the world. We must tell the police at once. The men dropped the vase into the sea. Divers are going to pick up the vase and take it to the ship. There they are.
Put your hands up.
You can't escape.
Well done, Eddie.
It was Smokey's idea, Professor. Look, Smokey. Your picture's in the paper.
Track 39. Unit 17. Listening. 1. Look at the map and listen carefully. Find the letters and write them in your notebook.
Start in the centre of the island. Walk north to the big palm tree. There's a letter under the tree. Write it in your notebook. Now walk west. Cross the bridge over the river. Look under the bridge. There's another letter there. Write it down. Walk west to the beach. There's a boat on the sand. There are 3 letters on the side of the boat. Write down the letter in the middle. Now walk south. Can you see the little house? There's a letter on the roof. Write it down. Walk southeast until you come to the castle. Can you see the flags? Write down the letter on the square flag. Walk to the east coast of the island. Can you see the lighthouse? There are 4 letters on the lighthouse. Write down the one at the bottom. Now jump into the water and swim out to the big bird on the rock. It's got a letter in its beak. Write down the letter. Swim back to the island and walk north. Climb to the top of the mountain. There are 2 letters at the top. Write down the one on the left. You need 1 more letter. Where is it? Look at the sky in the west. Can you see the hot air balloon? There's a letter on the basket. Write it down. That's the last letter.
Track 40. 3. Listen and sing.
Watch out, there's a thief about. Shut your windows, lock your doors.
Track 41. Unit 17. Spelling.
We can break words into small parts. These are called syllables. Each syllable has a vowel sound. One-syllable word, vase. Two-syllable word, island.
Track 42. Unit 18. The Selfish Giant. Every day after school, some children played in a beautiful garden. It belonged to a giant, but he was not in his castle. He was visiting his friend a long way away. Flowers like stars grew in the grass. In spring, the trees had pink flowers on their branches. In the autumn, the trees held round golden fruit. "We are very happy here," the children told each other. The giant stayed away for 7 years, but one day he came back. He saw the children in his garden.
What are you doing here?
He asked in a gruff voice.
This garden is mine.
The children ran away. The giant built a wall all round the garden. He put up a big notice, "Keep out." He was a very selfish giant. The children had nowhere to play. They tried to play on the road, but the road was very dusty and full of hard stones. They passed the high wall after school. "We were happy there," they said to each other. Spring came. Everywhere there were flowers and birds, but in the selfish giant's garden it was still winter. The birds did not want to sing in it because there were no children. There were no flowers anywhere. Snow covered the grass. The north wind came. It rattled the windows. It roared all round the garden like an angry beast. The giant could not understand it.
Where is spring?
He said. But spring never came, nor the summer. In the autumn, the other gardens had golden fruit, but the giant's garden had nothing. It was always winter in his garden. There was ice and snow. The cold north wind blew more fiercely every day. One morning, the giant woke up early. He heard beautiful music. It was a bird singing cheerfully outside his window. The giant looked out. He saw a small hole in his tall, thick wall. But then he saw the most wonderful sight. In every tree sat a little child. Pink flowers were on the branches. The birds were flying about and twittering. The flowers nodded their heads most joyfully. The giant's heart melted.
I was very selfish, he said. Now I understand why spring never came. My garden can be the children's playground forever and ever.
He took a big axe and knocked down the wall, and the children played there every day. Track 43, Unit 18, Listening. 1. Listen to the children. Who are friends?
Hello, my name's Sue. My best friend has got short black curly hair. She's always laughing.
Hi, I'm Paddy. My best friend is always laughing too. He's got red hair and he loves playing football.
I'm Daisy. My best friend has got curly blonde hair. She loves cats. She's even got some cat earrings.
Hi, my name's Tom. My best friend's hair is the same colour as mine. I wear glasses, but he doesn't. He always wears a cap.
Hello, I'm Lisa. My best friend has got long black curly hair. She wears glasses like me.
Track 44. 2. Listen and sing.
Friends are special when they sing together. They can sing the whole day. They can sing the night away. They can sing together. They can sing. Friends are special when they laugh together. They can laugh the whole day. They can laugh the night away. They can laugh together. They can laugh. Friends are special when they cry together. They can cry the whole day. They can cry the night away. They can cry together. They can cry. Friends are special when they dream together. They can dream the whole day. They can dream the night away. They can dream together. They can dream.
Track 45. Unit 18. Spelling.
The letters CH can make a soft sound. The children played in the beautiful garden. The letters CH can make a hard sound, like K. They played after school.
Track 46. Revision 6. 2. Listen and read.
We like this garden. We often play on the swing. Please, can I play with you?
These flowers grow the most quickly.
The red flowers grow more quickly than the purple flowers. I always see beautiful butterflies in the orange flowers.
I sometimes find shells under the trees.
The white birds sing quietly.
The bluebirds sing more loudly than the white birds.
The blackbirds sing the most loudly.
Track 47. 4. Listen and point to the picture.
Please push harder. I want to go higher.
Look at this one. It has pink and yellow wings. There are blue circles on its wings too. It's very colourful. Look! The pink flowers are taller than the red flowers.
These are smaller than a mouse.
These are the best. Let's put some in a vase.
Listen. Can you find the birds?
End of CD2.